From June of 1989, the same week that Ghostbusters 2 opened on screens all across America, here's a great clip with Leeza Gibbons interviewing Ernie Hudson, his wife, and his 2 small children about child-proofing the home.
Some of his own child care secrets with us. Let's welcome Ernie Hudson, his wife Linda, and their sons Andrew and Ross. Hi, gang.
Hey, hi. How you doing?
Give yourself a hand, Andrew.
Look at that, Andrew. He loves it. First of all, gee, too bad the movie's not doing better. Leeza and I were just reading
Yeah, we're sorry about it.
USA Today this morning. It was $10 million for the opening weekend.
Yeah, well, we just want people to hear about it, and, you know, do the best you can.
I tell you, you'd think you could dress the kids a little nicer with the money you're making.
Yeah, I know. I put it all in my tie as a kid.
No, really, it's wonderful. Congratulations. A bigger opening than Indiana Jones, which was a splash.
I think it's a good movie, and people enjoy it. That's great.
You're terrific in it. This is Andrew.
This is Andrew.
And this is Ross.
And this is Ross.
Linda's holding Ross. Andrew and I have a trick.
Check this out.
Andrew, here. Let's show everybody what we learned. You want one of these? You want a Kleenex?
Rob's been teaching tricks.
And what do we do with a Kleenex? Can you wipe my face? Can you wipe my face?
Oh, that's great.
Isn't he good? We worked this out. This is a little choreography we've got. You've got 2 older kids also.
I have a 23-year-old and a 20-year-old who've now left home.
It's about time, Ernie.
It's about time, yes. But they're doing very well.
But you basically brought them up yourself, didn't you?
Yeah, when the first marriage ended, I got custody of the kids and raised them. And wasn't easy, but they're great guys.
I don't know how you do it alone.
Very brave thing to do. And now you're getting a second chance. You've got this new family.
And now I'm doing it all over again with.
And luckily, Linda's along.
And I have Linda. Yes, I have Linda.
Well, we thought as long as you're in this situation, let's talk about some of the new products that are out right now for moms and for kids.
Right. Well, doing it the second time, I wanted to make this as easy as possible. And so here is a pillow that we found very helpful for Linda when she's feeding the baby. And it wraps around the waist, and it helps support her back.
And the arm, which is important because it gets very heavy.
Really? Do you like this, Linda? Does it feel comfortable?
Yeah, it feels real comfortable. And like I say, it gives support because the baby does get heavy.
Oh, sure. And now you use this in conjunction with the stool?
Yes. Now, here's a stool here. Now, this is interesting because it is on an incline, and it helps elevate her legs and the baby, and that feels great, right?
Makes them more comfortable, yeah.
One of the problems I remember is that we had the rocking chair, but that your legs are down too low, and it's tough to keep that baby in that great position. Whether you're breastfeeding, or in my case, bottle feeding.
Right.
Didn't want to try anything funny with it. He's out like a light.
Yeah, he is. He's been
Whatever it is seems to work.
Yeah, is he sleeping through the night yet?
Pretty much, except for like one feeding during the night.
Yeah.
Well, you've got
But he
tricks, though.
doesn't.
You've got tricks to help him sleep better, don't you?
Yes. Well, Andrew had a little trouble sleeping in the beginning, so we found classical music really helps a lot. And what we do is we have a tape that's about 45 minutes.
Oh, is this your music with
This is the music.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Put this on.
Very soothing.
We're going to lose the audience.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah. Spend about 15 minutes with him. We just, spend time with him. And then we lay him down, and he chills out.
Look at this.
And it's great in the car. In the car, it just
He'll fall asleep in a minute.
So try classical music. It's great.
I thought you were kidding, but this is having a great effect. Now,
Isn't that great? He's just been a little whirling dervish here this morning.
he really is, and now he's mellow as can be. The thing that you think about, obviously, when you become parents is that the kids can get into all kinds of trouble when you really can't watch them all the time, things you may not think are problems. How have you dealt with that?
Well, you can't protect the kids too much. Now, one of the things, kids like to stick things in electrical sockets, and so we found this is a cover that you can get. It's very inexpensive, and it snaps on, so the kids can't just pull it off. It snaps on.
You have to sort of squeeze the sides.
Squeeze the sides, and it snaps right back in there.
But what about those little push tabs? Aren't those good enough?
Well, when you get Andrew's age, he can pull them out, so they really don't work very well.
So this is harder to manipulate.
Right, and it's easy to put on. It's very good. Another thing that we found is the corners of tables sometimes are very sharp, and these are corner edges. You see, they're put around.
We put them around here,
right,
just knowing that Andrew was coming in.
It keeps the kids from getting blood on your carpet. But it helps.
That's a real liability with kids.
It keeps the kids from hurting themselves.
Let's show this container. This is because when you have valuables around the house, you don't want the kids to get in.
Valuables, also things that they shouldn't drink, and also medicines. And this works because you have to have very long fingers to open it. And see, it's a little latch inside there.
That's an intricate thing, isn't it?
Yeah, the kids can't.
Well, no, you can actually adjust that too, can't you, to the length of your finger if you want it to be.
Yeah, I believe you can. I believe you can. It's very good.
Because it's L.A., we got to have shades for our baby.
Oh yes.
Who's going to wear these?
Well, let's try it on Ross.
Do you think Ross would wear it?
Right now, you could do anything to Ross.
Ross is, as long as he's got that pacifier, he's a happy guy. Do you think the babies would actually wear those things, Linda?
Yeah, well, Andrew loves sunglasses. I mean, he thinks he's a little star when he's got them on.
Yeah, he wants them right
he would
now.
wear them, and the baby, you know, is too small to take them off, so he has no choice.
These, by the way, have 100% UV protection. They're non-toxic, and they're shatterproof.
Yes, it's very important.
And Andrew wants them. Well, Ross and Andrew and Linda and Ernie, thank you all for coming down this morning on the home show.
Really
Thank
lovely.
Congratulations on Ghostbusters 2. It's playing everywhere, and I mean everywhere.
Yeah, great. Thanks. You enjoyed it. Good seeing you, too.
Pleasure. Nice to meet you all. Bye, guys.
From Entertainment Tonight's Inside Movies, here's Leeza Gibbons again, this time interviewing Sigourney Weaver about her role in Ghostbusters 2 from the summer of 1989.
The on-screen love affair has a bundle of joy to deal with this time, and it's not Bill Murray's. Leeza Gibbons reports.
We're the best, we're the beautiful, we're the only Ghostbusters.
Don't put any of those old cheap moves on me.
No.
It's different.
I have all new cheap moves.
The boys are back, the slime returns, and so does Sigourney with a little Ghostbuster from a previous relationship. And although some things have changed, the enormous hoopla remains the same.
The premiere for this movie gets such excitement and generates incredible audience reaction. How gratifying is that for all of you?
I think it's great. You know, I think the expectation now that we've made a good film is nice. And also, there's something very sweet to me about being in a film that 5-year-olds can't wait to see, you know, I mean, and are just totally involved in some sort of mythic way.
Weaver's worked with everything, aliens, gorillas, and now pink slime and babies.
Which was tougher, gorillas, slime, and babies?
Oh, the gorillas were easy. And I didn't have much to do with the slime. The babies were not unlike the gorillas, and the Ghostbusters are not unlike the gorillas either, in a way. They're all very natural and relaxed.
And after completing 3 films in a row with 2 Oscar nominations, Sigourney says she's ready to relax.
It sort of made me anxious not to have attention for a while after this. I'm very happy with the work that I've done, and I'm happy with the way it was received, and now I sort of feel like I want to go off and collect myself and not be in the public eye, and then come back in a couple of years with something else to offer.
Let's just hope the wait won't be too long. Leeza Gibbons, Entertainment Tonight.
While the Ghostbusters rule the box office this week, they will likely be haunted by the next big movie opening this Friday, Batman.
Another partial clip where I just didn't catch the interviewer's name. Here's Dan Aykroyd being interviewed from the summer of 1989 about Ghostbusters 2. And yes, the mood slime clip is in there.
Bill Murray and most of the old gang from the first Ghostbusters are back in the new Ghostbusters 2, and I spoke with Dan Aykroyd about ghosts and Ghostbusters 2.
Of a weak electrochemical bond. I have seen some disgusting crud in my time, but you take the cake. You're just...
This is what you do with your spare time.
You know, you can basically stop randomly a person on the street and say, you know, if they haven't seen a ghost, they've heard about someone who has, or they know a relative who has. And I hear experiences all the time about kids who lose their parents, parents who lose their kids, and they get a premonition before of some kind of something that's going to happen. The Chinese consulate here in New York has a spirit in it that I investigated a few years ago. On the 5th floor, a ghost of an old roast beef chef. I mean, you went, I'm telling you, this at the old Sheraton Hotel on the 42nd Street. Yeah, there's a spirit in there, the ghost of Flight 401, that plane that crashed, and then the guy kept coming back on other Lockheed 1011s. When they took the elevator out of the wreck and put it in as a spare part. And then as soon as they did that, this spirit started appearing. When they took the elevator out and changed their policy, Eastern Airlines had a blanket policy, no more wrecks from spare parts.
When it was suggested that you do a second movie, when it was first suggested, what was your thought?
Well, never a problem for me, you know, because I think these characters here have a long way to go, and I think there's all kinds of other things we can explore. It was just a matter of convincing Billy and Ivan and Harold that it was the right thing to do. I think Ivan and I were gung-ho from the very beginning. Billy has a kind of an anti-commercial streak, you know. He, like me, he grew up in the 60s, and, you know, the concept of selling out and the concept of ripping people off is not something we, you know, embrace. So he really had to feel that we had a solid story that was going to stand on its own.
It looks like a giant Jell-O mold. I hate Jell-O. Oh, come on. There's always room for Jell-O.
Was it fun to do? It looked like fun.
It's always fun working with Harold, Ivan, and Billy, and Rick, and Annie, and Sigourney, and Ernie, because on this, on this one, we didn't really have to establish characters. The characters were already established. We were able to kind of just totally, purely explore the relationships. It was kind of like making a Bowery Boys movie.
Is there a sense now I should start doing something more legitimate for a living, or?
Well, busting ghosts is pretty legitimate when you consider that Coca-Cola is our main backer and our sponsor, and that's a legitimate business.
Yeah.
I think that there's a blanket prejudice against actors, and I think that statement that you've just said probably comes out of that a little bit. We tend to think that actors are like minstrels or vaudevillians or, jokers or court jesters, that there's really not, or clowns and Ringling Brothers or Barnum and Bailey. So these people work very hard, and they are professionals at what they do, and they have these skills. And, if you just spend a little time in Hollywood and sit down in a boardroom, with executives and agents, you realize that you're in a legitimate business with bottom line numbers and computer printouts and all of that.
I get a sense from you, just sitting here, though, now, there is a gleeful side to all of this, that even where you are in your life now, that you're still having fun, and that there's a sense of almost getting away with something.
Well, yes, I've always felt since high school, since primary school, I've always felt I was getting away with things in class and everything. I certainly have fun at what I do, and I'm very fortunate to be in a profession that provides that kind of reward, because so many people in life, maybe end up doing things that they would rather not do, but just do for a paycheck. And so I'm very grateful and very thankful, and I credit my friends with my success. I would be nowhere if it weren't for these fantastic collaborators that I have had down through my career. Tom Hanks, Chevy Chase, Eddie Murphy, Bill Murray, and Steve Martin, and all the people from Saturday Night Live. I'd be nowhere without them, and so it's great to be part of that community, and I feel very privileged.
I was kind of proud of myself for noticing this one. Real Ghostbusters cereal contest commercial, parentheses, guy wearing proton pack upside down.
Ghostbusters! If you liked Ghostbusters the movie, you'll love the real thing. You can win a trip to the real Ghostbusters headquarters, bring a friend, and meet a real Ghostbuster. Ghostbusters! Look for the record in specially marked boxes of Ghostbusters Cookie Crisp and Diner Sodas.